Hey there guys, what's up? It's All About Mikey 18 here with an episode review for you guys, a TV episode review. Guys, first off, I apologize for the crappy quality of the video. I apologize that the video quality looks like crap, but I'm using my webcam. I'm not using my HD camera. I just watched the latest episode of Breaking Bad, and Talking Bad is coming on in another, 20 minutes, so I want to go watch Talking Bad, so I'm going to quickly do this episode review using my webcam, so I apologize for the crappy quality. But anyway, guys, yeah, I know I don't really review brand new episodes for TV shows that I watch. I usually don't do that. I'm mostly movies and stuff, but it's just Breaking Bad. That's obviously the show I'm going to be talking about in this video. The newest episode of Breaking Bad, episode 10, Buried, just premiered. I just watched it. I loved it. And before Talking Bad comes on, I wanted to do a quick review of it. So, guys, I usually don't review TV episodes. Sometimes I do review season finales for some shows that I'm watching, but I never review every single episode. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna make a habit of this. There's about how many more episodes are there left for Breaking Bad? 6 more, I think. I don't think I'm gonna have reviews for every single episode left of Breaking Bad. But, I don't know, I just really felt like talking about the episode tonight after I watched it, because there are just so many things on my mind with the show now. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, things are getting intense, really intense, in the show, and I just felt like talking about the episode, guys. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a quick review. I'm going to summarize the episode, basically almost everything that happened. I'm not going to talk about every single thing, and I'll give you my thoughts on the episode and what I think is going to happen next week and all that. And finally, there's obviously going to be spoilers in here, guys. So if you did not watch the episode, don't watch it. I'll spoil the whole entire thing for you. Watch the episode first, then come back and watch me. So anyway, guys, episode 10, Buried. If we all remember how last week's episode ended, it was the big confrontation scene that I'm pretty sure everyone has been waiting for the last 5 or so seasons. It was the big confrontation scene between Walt and Hank in Hank's garage, and at that point, Hank he believes that Walt is Heisenberg, or Walt has been Heisenberg this whole time, and Walt knew at that point that Hank has his suspicions, so Hank punched him right in the face, and he's just like, I am so pissed off at you, I don't even know you anymore. And that was all awesome, badass confrontation scene. I loved how it was filmed, I loved how it was acted, that was excellent. So this episode is a continuation from that scene, basically. We have the beginning scene in the episode is this old guy finding the money that Jesse threw out of his car. He was taking his millions and he was just throwing them on the streets. That was, I wish I was there. I really wish I caught one of those wads of cash. But anyway, so an old guy finds like a few stacks, and he sees Jesse laying in this playground on the that little circular thing that spins around. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, so that's how that ends. Then it goes to the main theme, and then we have then it goes back to the confrontation scene where it left off from last week, where Walt leaves Hank's garage, and Walt is just like, the first thing that I think Walt thought of was, I gotta call Skyler. So he starts calling Skyler, who's working at the car wash, and she's on the phone. And apparently Walt looks out his car window. He sees Hank on the phone, so he realizes, oh crap. Hank called Skyler, so Hank is obviously trying to tell Skyler all of this, tell her what he knows, and so Walt rushes over to the car wash. Skyler is apparently gone, and it turns out Skyler went to this diner to meet Hank so they can talk the situation out. Now, this was actually one of my most favorite. This was probably my favorite part of the whole entire episode. This one scene in the diner, the scene between Dean Norris and Anna Gunn, was so well acted between the two of them. I swear, Dean Norris should get some Emmy love in next year's Emmys for that one scene alone. For this episode, probably, I guess. But he was so good in this one scene in the diner, and they're basically talking about everything. Hank is just like, he's disgusted. I kind of sympathize Hank. I do. I kind of feel bad for him. I mean, you gotta feel bad for the guy. The past year, he's had no clue his brother-in-law was the great Heisenberg, and he's just finding all this stuff out now. And everything that's happened, all of these deaths, these murders, and he feels really betrayed that his own brother-in-law is Heisenberg. So he's talking to Skyler about this, and Skyler is obviously, she's in shock too that Hank figured this all out, that Hank found out Walt is Heisenberg. And she doesn't confess anything to Hank, and that was the thing I think a lot of people were worried about. Is Skyler going to confess, anything to Hank? Because she's known that Walt has been Heisenberg for a while now. Since the beginning of season 3, she's known all of this, and she basically just leaves the diner because she felt that she was, she kept asking Hank repeatedly, "Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?" And she started screaming. She got a lot of people to pay attention to what was going on in the diner. The diner patrons. Then she just left, and then what happened? I'm going to cut back to Walt's story. I'm trying to remember everything that happened. There's so much to take in. I mean, oh man, so many interesting things happened on the latest episode. I think Walt goes to Saul at this point, and those two henchmen guys, Saul's two guys, that big guy Huel, and that other guy who's always doing Saul's dirty work, and he's always doing things for Walt. They get into that storage room where Walt, where Skyler had that huge stack of cash. Remember that from season 5, episode 8. And they take all the money out. They transfer all the money into these barrels, and they go over to Saul's place where Walt is presently in Saul's office, and Walt has told Saul everything, and this is another really good part of this episode. Saul's like, well, there's always the option. You could always, get rid of Hank, kill him. And Walt's like, no, he's family. And that's the thing I like about Walt, his character. Walt is still, Hank knows that he's Heisenberg, but, Walt, the greatest thing for him, obviously, in his life is his family. He will not ever mess up with when it comes to family. He will not betray family or anything like that. Even though Hank knows this big secret, he will not want to do anything like that to his own family. And so yeah, that was cool. Then those two guys arrive with the money for Walt. Walt drives off into the desert where I believed where he had his first cook with Jesse, if you remember, in the first episode of season 1. And he starts digging this huge hole, and he starts pushing the barrels of the money into the hole. And that's why the episode is called Buried, obviously. And so he's got to hide his money. That's the one thing. Hank, obviously, he could turn Walt in. He could go to the DEA and be like, hey, my brother-in-law has been cooking crystal meth all this time. But the one thing Hank doesn't have is evidence. And that money is obviously evidence that Walt has been Heisenberg. So Walt's got to hide the money, and he ends up burying it. And he makes note of the coordinates, the latitude and longitude, and he leaves at some point later on in the episode. I also forgot to mention, Hank tells Skyler that Walt's cancer is back. If you remember at the end of the last episode, Walt told Hank, don't even bother trying to prosecute me. My cancer's back already, so there's no point. So Walt, that's his mission, to hide the money. He does that successfully. And meanwhile, Hank ends up telling Marie. We don't see him telling Marie, unfortunately. I would have loved for them to show that. I would have loved to just see her facial reaction to Hank telling her that, oh, that's your brother-in-law's been cooking crystal meth this whole time. That would have been nice to see. But anyway, so Marie and Hank go over to Walt and Skyler's house. Skyler is there. She's nervous. She's pacing around in the house. Holly's just playing around on the floor. And Marie's just banging on the door. She's like, Skyler, open up. I'm not leaving until you answer me. So Skyler lets her in. She's obviously, she's panicked. She's, very sad. She's still in shock, I guess. They sit down on her and Walt's bed, and they start talking it out. And Marie's like, oh, Skyler, it's all right. You didn't know this long. It's all right. We're gonna get rid of Walt. Hank's gonna get him or whatever. However she said it. And then she starts, flashing. She starts going back, backtracking to all these events, all these big events that have happened, and she starts connecting them to Walt. And then she tells Skyler, did you know about Walt being Heisenberg when Hank was shot? And Skyler's like, Marie, I just don't know what to tell you. And then Marie did something that I'm sure pleased a hell of a lot of fans. It was enjoyable to watch for me. I mean, I don't hate Skyler, okay? I don't hate her. Is she a bitch? Yeah. At some point, she is a bitch. I don't hate her character. I feel that most of the things she had been doing in the show were for good reasons. That's all I'm going to say about that. But Marie just bitch slaps Skyler, and Skyler's like shocked, and then Marie gets up, and she's disgusted with Skyler. She really is. At this point, she wants nothing to do with her or Walt, especially Walt. And she picks up Holly, and she starts to leave, and then in another very well acted scene between Betsy Brandt, Anna Gunn, and again Dean Norris, Skyler's just like, no, you can't take my baby. You're not going anywhere with my baby. And then Hank barges in. He's like, Marie, that's it. Give her Holly back. That's it. We're gonna go. That's it. And so yeah, Hank stood up for that. Hank stood up for Skyler for that scene. But Marie's pissed that Skyler's not helping Hank out. She's not giving him any information, any leads that he needs. I better hurry up. Talking Bad is coming back on in a couple minutes. I want to go watch that. But anyway. So that's it with that scene. Skyler's still shocked. Walt ends up coming home later that night. He passes out on his bathroom floor again. He wakes up about 5 hours later. He's all dirty, from where he was burying the money. And he begins to tell Skyler, you know what? Everything I've done, I don't want all this to go to waste. I mean, I got all of this money. I earned all this money, and now it's all going to be gone. So he tells Skyler, I want to turn myself in, but I want you to keep the money and give it to the kids. Obviously, that's why he did all this from the start. I like how they had his character do that. He's ready to turn himself in at this point. Shows you how much he cares about his family. And Skyler's like, no, wait a second. Let's hold off about this. Let's hold off on this for a second. Let's wait a while. Let's keep things quiet. Hank still needs evidence. That's the main thing that Hank needs. Hank can't go anywhere with this investigation. He can't bring attention to the DEA until he has that solid evidence that he needs. This is all suspicion as of right now. I mean, he believes Walt is Heisenberg. We all know Walt is obviously Heisenberg, but Hank needs evidence. And so that's the end of that. Skyler is not going to want Walt to turn himself in, so that's the end of that. And then I think towards the end of the episode, we have Hank and Marie in their house, and Hank's like, Marie's like, you're going to go to work, I'm not going to work, and she wants him to tell the DEA so they can, get an investigation going and bust Walt, but Hank brings up a really good point that I never realized. He tells Marie, he's like, Marie, I can't go to the DEA about this because the second I do, I'll lose my job, because when you think about it, he's right. This whole past year, he did not know that his own brother-in-law was cooking crystal meth. He's been looking for his own brother-in-law, and the answer was right in front of his face half the time. And the DEA would fire him. I never thought of that, actually. That's good writing right there. And so Hank's like, we're going to have to just wait. I need to find the evidence on my own. It doesn't say it exactly like that, but, I'm paraphrasing. So he ends up going to work. And, he meets up with Gomez, and that's almost it for that until Gomez tells him that they busted Jesse Pinkman. They got Jesse Pinkman for throwing the cash, throwing the millions on the people's doorsteps and on their lawns. So Hank wants to go see what's going on with Jesse, and meanwhile, before that happens, a few scenes before that, we see Lydia. You guys remember Lydia going to meet with Declan. It turns out that she hired Todd and a bunch of other guys to shoot Declan and his henchmen. You guys remember Declan was the guy that Walt made the deal with in mid-season 5. He was gonna. I forget the deal they made with them. I think Walt was gonna give him the product to sell or whatever. But now Walt's out of the business. Declan needs, a new cook. He's not making the same kind of product that Walt had been making. It's not as pure, I guess. He doesn't have the best working environment either. So Lydia has these guys shoot up Declan. They kill Declan and his men. And it turns out that she planned this. She double-crossed Declan, and she just arrived at Declan's little hideout just to set him up to get him and his men killed. So that's it with that storyline. I just wanted to briefly mention that. That was actually pretty interesting. And Also, like I said, the very last scene in the episode, and this killed me when they ended the episode. This really did. I was really upset because I wanted to see what was going to happen. We see Jesse being interrogated by those two guys who interrogated him back in the end of season 4. They're like, Jesse, come on, we want answers here. Why were you giving away your money or whatever? They're interrogating him. I don't remember exactly what they were saying. So Hank arrives. Those two guys leave. And he's like, alright, it's alright, guys, it's alright, go ahead, leave. I have a history with Jesse Pinkman. Maybe I can get him to talk. So literally, they end it with Hank opening the door to the interrogation room. Jesse is just broken. You know, he is really messed up at this point from everything he's been involved with. I mean, he wants nothing to do with that money. As you saw, he was throwing the money away. And he is just really damaged. And so we see Hank opening the door. He closes the door. The episode cuts to black. I was so pissed off. I wanted to literally just see Hank say something to Jesse, like, hello, Jesse, or something like that. I don't care. I just wanted to see them meet in this episode, because Jesse didn't realize that Hank was there, and, oh man, I just can't wait for next week. Okay, guys, so that was the whole plot summary of the episode. It was a really well-written episode, very intense in a couple of scenes, especially that one scene in the White residence between Skyler, Marie, and Hank. I mean, you're just seeing this family crumble, this really tight family that had barbecues. They did a lot of things together. This whole time, they never knew Walt was cooking crystal meth. Now they know, and now the family's just completely falling apart. Their lives are over. Their lives are, I mean, not, over like that's it, they're dead. I mean, they're happy lives, they're happy memories as a family. That's all they have left of their memories. I mean, this family is slowly getting torn apart, and it's only going to get worse. And that's what I like, what's going on with that storyline. Obviously, Lydia will be back. We see Todd again in this episode. He'll probably be back for a future episode. I don't know, maybe that was the end of their characters. I doubt it. But we still got 6 episodes left. Overall, I really like the episode, guys. What would I rate it? I don't know what I would rate it. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a 9. Yeah, maybe 9. Really interesting things happened. It wasn't, mind-blowingly fantastic. It was all right. Pretty intense in its few moments. I mean, the show is only going to get better. I loved what they did with the previous episode. Okay, and I think that they went even further with this episode. I mean, you could tell that it's ending. Things are going to start to crumble. People are going to start to die, possibly. We don't know. And that's it. So I feel the episode was very well directed. It was well written, especially in a couple of really scenes. And above all, the episode was very well acted. These actors did a phenomenal job. And this was the episode that actually showed very less of Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. I mean, they were in the episode, but not as much as Skyler, Hank, and Marie. They were really, I mean, that was the main focus in this episode, actually. So there you have it, guys. That's my review of Breaking Bad episode 10, Buried, season 5, episode 10, Buried. Really liked it, guys. Go check it out for sure. And real quick, I would like to leave a prediction of what I think is going to happen. Everyone's been leaving predictions already. I seriously think, now next week, we know obviously Hank is going to finally meet with Jesse. He's going to interrogate him. He's going to talk to him. But the question is Hank going to bring up anything about Walt? The fact that he knows Walt is Heisenberg. And will he try to get Jesse to help him to get that evidence he needs? That's what I think could happen for next week's episode. Ultimately, I think Jesse's going to just break and he's going to kill Walt. That is how I feel this show will end. That is how I feel if they wanted to end it very well and go out with a bang, in my opinion. I feel that would actually be a smart way to do it. Jesse, Walt has done so many things that Jesse doesn't know about, and if Jesse is to find out about these things, if him and Hank were to work together, I highly doubt that would happen, but who knows? Jesse may talk to Hank. I don't know. If he does, then Walt's done. They can easily prosecute him, and that's it. But yeah, guys, so that's it. I still think, in a way, Jesse's gonna kill Walt. I just have a strong feeling that Walt has done so many things. He's basically watched Jane die. He's poisoned Brock. He's hurt Jesse a lot. He killed Mike, and I think that Jesse would kill Walt. in the end if he had to. But that's just how I feel. And next episode, I think it's going to be really intense, and I can't wait to see Hank and Jesse meet again. And they're like arch enemies. They really are. Like Jesse. Like you remember when he was in the hospital, he was like, "If I ever see your brother-in-law again, that's it." I don't remember exactly what he said, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Hank and Jesse hate each other. So things are going to get pretty intense next week. I can't wait till Sunday at 9 already. I mean, I'm hyping up the next episode already. I'm so pissed I have to wait a whole nother week. I'm so used to just not, because I caught up this whole entire summer by watching the DVDs. I didn't have to wait for commercials. I didn't have to wait a whole week. I watched about 2 or 3 episodes a night. Now I have to wait. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode, guys. This one was really good. I give it a 9 out of 10. Go watch it. Talking Bad comes on in about 4 minutes. I want to go watch that, see what the stars and Chris Hardwick have to say about the episode. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. And that's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this episode of Breaking Bad. And how do you think the show will end? And what do you predict will happen in the next episode? So, thank you guys for watching. Bye.